Alright guys, so today I just wanted to go over some... Whoa! Isabella... Doom Guy, why would you give Isabella a gun? I don't care how innocent she looks. You know how she gets with weapons. Oh great, now the goose got out. Sorry about that, guys. They needed somewhere to stay while certain preparations were made. Maybe it wasn't the best idea to invite Isabella and Doom Guy at the same time, but you know, I'm still alive, somehow. In any case, now that I've gotten Doom Guy his tea, we can all calm down and I can actually start with the video. So today I wanted to actually talk about the coronavirus. Now just keep in mind that this video is only updated March 12th, 2020, which means it's all the information I could collect up to this point. So it's very possible that new information might come out like an hour after I release this video, and it could very well outdate something that I said here. So it's very important that you keep that in mind, because between the fact that constant research is being done on the coronavirus, and on top of that, it's such a new thing, it's very, very possible something I say will become outdated, and not because I didn't do my research or anything of the sort, but simply because we're constantly learning about this new virus. Fortunately though, I'm fairly confident that this first piece of information is not going to go out of date. What you need to do is stop flipping out on me! Okay, I know that was a little dramatic, but I'm being very serious. People are panicking like crazy. And I can tell you with complete confidence that the absolute worst possible thing you can ever do in an emergency is panic. Now don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling you to ignore the situation, and I'm not telling you to not be concerned about it. But what I am telling you is that you're going to be a lot better equipped to handle the situation if you have a clear head and you're not running around like a chicken with its head cut off. So please, try to remain calm, stay alert, try to make sure you keep up with all of the up-to-date information like I've been trying to, and make sure you take proper reasonable precautions, but don't freak out, otherwise you become ill-equipped to handle the situation. Now the next thing I wanted to go over is terminology. There is pandemic and epidemic. People have a tendency to use these two words interchangeably, but really they can't be, at least not by their technical definition. So I wanted to go over that. Epidemic means that there is a disease kind of ravaging a specific area, and the people in that area are having a really hard time keeping it under control. A pandemic means that that's happening, but on a bit more of a larger scale, on a more global scale. So it's very important you know the difference between those two. The other thing that's very important to keep in mind is that when people on the picture box are talking about this, they don't always know the difference between these two terms, and it's not necessarily because they're dumb or anything of the sort, but it's really easy to get those two terms confused, even if you do know what they mean. So it's very important that when you hear them use these terms that you actually go and check if it's actually a pandemic or an epidemic. Now, as it stands now, it seems that we are in a pandemic in terms of the coronavirus. Now, another thing that I see being thrown around is, oh, they found a cure. I heard it from my mom's friends, uncles, parents, dog, that they found a cure. And it seems to be getting mixed up just because this is being thrown every which way. So here's what's actually happening. It seems that they've been doing some testing with its HIV drug, and it seems to have an effect on the coronavirus. So a lot of research actually still needs to be done on this. It's not like you can just go and find some random HIV drug and jam it in and magically you're cured from the coronavirus. They're still doing research to make sure it was actually that, to see which drug specifically it was. Maybe it might actually serve as a cure. I have no idea. We're going to see after they research it, and who knows, maybe it is. But for the moment, they haven't really confirmed it, and it's definitely not being used as a treatment for the coronavirus for this time. So it's a thing that might have some possibility to it, and it's definitely being researched, but it's not like we found a definite cure right away. So now going back to the media, I think that they're kind of blowing this up a smidge out of proportion. Now, no, again, I'm not saying don't be concerned about it. Definitely be concerned and weary about it. But I do think that they're kind of going a little clickbait, not so here. And it's probably scaring people more than it should. Now, again, you should still be concerned. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. But I don't think that the amount of fear that people have measures correctly to the legitimate danger of it. So, to give you a reference, I'm going to give you two different statistics that are accurate as of this time. Again, it could change. Maybe it could drastically change 5 minutes from when I make this video. But for the time being, here are the statistics. For the Ebola virus that everybody was talking about a couple years ago, that had a 90% death rate. The coronavirus has an 80% survival rate. Now, no, this doesn't mean that you should stop taking precautions because your chances are mostly good. But what it does mean is that it's not like an immediate death sentence. Now, of course, if you are a bit older or your immune system's compromised, then your chances of surviving it aren't as good as, say, a perfectly healthy person. But even then, you need to make sure you don't panic because, again, that's the worst thing you can possibly do in a bad situation. Also, regarding the statistics, it is likely that for the coronavirus, it's going to go up. But keep in mind that a good reason why it's going up so drastically is because more and more places are more capable of detecting the coronavirus than before, as opposed to an actual drastic increase in the amount of people who have the coronavirus. So don't think immediately that when you see the numbers, it's because the coronavirus has somehow drastically increased in being able to spread. Now, of course, that number will also include the increase in the infection rate. So what I'm saying is, don't immediately look at that number and think one way or the other. Wait for it to be properly analyzed so that you can get the right idea as opposed to just jumping to a conclusion. Now, the best thing that you can do to prepare your body in the event you get the virus is pretty much the thing that you should be doing at any given time. You need to keep it as healthy and strong as possible. Unfortunately, as far as we can tell, there's no like superfood or mega fruit or something like that that you can eat and it gives you a better chance against the coronavirus. But having the healthier immune system and a healthier body will significantly affect your chances. Now, again, just because you're healthy, I know I keep repeating this, but it's very important that you keep this in mind. Don't just go and get the coronavirus or risk it because your chances are okay. But what I am saying is that you should, just like always, keep your body healthy. Make sure you get proper sleep. Make sure you eat correctly. Make sure you regularly exercise it. Because the healthier your body is, the better chance you have of just fighting off any given infection. Like, even if you just forget the coronavirus, your odds are better when you're as healthy as possible. Now, one thing regarding keeping yourself as healthy as possible that I really don't see anybody mentioning is cutting your fingernails. Long fingernails are a place for bacteria and viruses to just hide, and it's even hard to try to get them out when you're washing your hands, so the easiest solution is just to properly cut your fingernails. Now, you don't have to go crazy and try to cut them like daily, but when they get rather long, make sure you cut them. Now, next piece of terminology. I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but we're here now. So people keep calling it the coronavirus. I even called it the coronavirus up to this point in the video, but that's not its technical name. See, the coronavirus is an umbrella term. There's a couple different versions of the coronavirus. The specific one that we're worried about and seem to be affecting humans is COVID-19. That's its technical name. So if people are saying that and tossing that around, that's just referring to the specific strand of virus that we're actually talking about. Now, as for protecting yourself from the virus, luckily, it's pretty much in line as to how you protect yourself from just about any other virus. For starters, you want to make sure you regularly clean things that most people don't think to clean. I made a whole video about it a little while back. I'll leave it down in the description below. But things like your cell phone, reusable grocery bags, or here's one that I actually didn't mention in my previous video, cleaning your remote controllers. Just take like a generic cleaning wipe and wipe down your controllers and that'll keep them clean. Now, as for being in public, same deal. Just like how you protect yourself from just about any other regular virus. When you think you've touched something dirty, make sure you correctly wash your hands. If you see somebody who is very obviously sick, don't stand right next to them. Now, no, you don't need to stand 20 feet away from them, spraying them with Lysol, holding some sort of cloth over your mouth in an attempt to keep from getting sick. That's just kind of ridiculous and really, really extreme. But stand a good distance away from them, and that's only if they're very obviously sick. If they're not, you're probably fine. Now, there are two things I want to tackle before the end of this video. The first thing being, please stop buying surgical masks. It's causing an extreme shortage of them, and that makes it so that people who actually need them, such as hospitals and such, don't have them. And here's the kicker. The people who are healthy and are buying them are not necessarily any more protected against the coronavirus. See, the misconception is that they act like air filters, and for the most part, that's not really what they do. What they're there for is to catch things that come out of your nose and mouth so that people with the coronavirus, or any other virus really, can keep from spreading whatever they have. If you're perfectly healthy, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't protect you anymore. So on top of the fact that this is causing shortages so that hospitals and other places that actually need these surgical masks can't get them, the healthy people who are buying them aren't even getting any health benefits from it. Now, I grant you to a degree, some of them can work like an air filter, but not to this level, and definitely not to protect specifically against COVID-19. And branching off of that, we're also getting shortages with everything else related to being sick. I'm talking hand sanitizers and toilet paper for some reason. And listen, it's a really good thing to be prepared, and it's a really good thing to be stocked up. I always encourage that. But you don't need to buy out the whole store to do it. This is actually a good example of what I was talking about earlier relating to panicking. People panic, so they ended up buying everything. And needless to say, these shortages are making it very difficult for other people to get what they need. And don't get me started on the negative economic impact of this sort of thing. So look, make sure you have everything you need. Make sure you're fully stocked up. Just don't go shopping like tomorrow's the apocalypse. Now, the next thing I'm going to say is, please do not trust somebody simply because they made your favorite song or they were in some movie you really liked. It's a real problem because a lot of them will say things and then people will just blindly accept it without really thinking about it or checking what it is that they're saying. Now look, I'm a random guy on the internet, but the thing that validates me is the fact that in my description you can see all the sources for my information. You can see, oh, this is a very reliable source, and he also has a couple other reliable sources confirming the same piece of information. For the most part, whether it's because they can't or don't want to, idols and famous people don't really present their information when they're talking about this sort of thing. Now, no, I'm not saying that they're lying or spouting out random information just for the sake of it. But what I am saying is that I have no idea how much research this person has done for what they're saying. Because you gotta remember, unless there's some sort of expert in the matter, like a famous doctor or something, an idol has just about as much validity to what they say as a regular person when they're talking about these kinds of things. So, just like a regular person, you will have no idea how much effort they've put into fact-checking it, that you have no idea where they got their information from. You don't know any of that. So, just like when somebody else gives you some piece of information, you want to go and see how valid that piece of information is. And on top of that, just like me, even if you know they do their research, you still might want to check it because, guess what? We're human. I could make a mistake. They could make a mistake. In fact, I can guarantee you that if I haven't already, I am going to make some sort of information mistake. Because again, I'm human. Now, of course, I will do everything I can to fix my mistake, but it's gonna happen. So, regardless as to whether it's about COVID-19 or not, if you see somebody famous throw out any piece of information, you want to fact check it. Alright, with that, we reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other piece of information involving COVID-19 or just in general you think people should know, make sure to leave it in the comment section below. Otherwise, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell button. I post every other week. And oh my gosh! She got a hold of the chainsaw. I gotta go. Hear nothing else to all. Bye, guys. Isabella, put that thing down!